Hello everyone, welcome to the Geoecologist. I am Dr. Krishnanand, and in this session we are going to learn about the concept of positivism. So not just positivism but the impact of positivism in evolution of geographical thought as well. So what was the impact of this ideology in the geographical thought and geographical understanding? So before we go ahead, please like and subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon for the updates. So now, let's learn about this word first. What is this positivism about and how is it different from other isms that we study? So there are many isms that we have studied, right? Environmentalism, regionalism. So what is this positivism all about? So let's learn about this. So the French word positivisme basically means the word coming from positif, and it is in philosophical sense. The basic idea is that particular sense which is imposed on the mind by one's own experience. So that is the basic idea of this word positivism. So the doctrine, when we say this word doctrine, it basically means a particular belief system, a particular methodology of belief system. So that is what a doctrine is. So a doctrine that states that the only authentic knowledge is scientific knowledge. So if we cannot explain something scientifically, it is not a knowledge. It is a negative aspect. So what is positive? To understand something scientifically. So that such knowledge can come only from positive affirmation of theories through strict scientific method. So basically the idea is of scientific analysis of the phenomena. So refusing every form of metaphysics. So this is the basic definition of what positivism is. So what is metaphysics then? So metaphysics is that branch of philosophy that deals with the first principles of things. For example, the abstract concepts like our own existence. Where did we come from? So our being, our knowing, identity, time, space, all these concepts. So that is beyond the physical world, because the physical world starts from Big Bang theory, as we know. So what was there before the Big Bang? So those questions that we ask which don't have answers in the physical science or the scientific way of understanding, that is being covered in the metaphysics. So what happened? This doctrine of positivism basically rejected this idea of metaphysics. So they talked that whatever we have to understand, it should be through scientific reasoning, through scientific understanding. Otherwise, it's not a positive knowledge. It's just dark. So going into the background, the origin of positivism as a well-established philosophy. Now remember, there is one important thing here, important catch here. This idea of positivism was not new when it was first established by French philosopher Auguste Comte in 1830s. Remember, the idea of positivism has been there since the evolution of geographical thought, right from pre-Greco-Roman till present era. But as an established concept in philosophy, it was given or propounded by Auguste Comte. So it is basically what? A philosophical movement that was started by Auguste Comte in 1830s, characterized by what? An emphasis on science and scientific method as the only source of knowledge, a sharp distinction between the realm of fact and value. So that was important, and a strong hostility towards religion and traditional philosophy, especially the metaphysics, as we know. Auguste Comte declared metaphysics is just a useless branch of inquiry. And remember, science and technology, industrial revolution, these things in the Europe led this idea to flourish and furnish more further. So he demanded a sociocracy. Remember, as we say democracy, the rule of demography, people, similarly the rule of society. So he wanted a rule of society. Of what kind of society? Of scientists for the unity and conformity and progress of all humanity. So he wanted a society where all the scientific understanding of everything, every knowledge should be the prime importance. So that was about sociocracy. So Comte argued that metaphysical philosophy was immature science. It did not have answers in reality. So the metaphysics could hence be replaced by scientifically dominated positive outlook. So what was considered positive? It was basically the science, the modern science, or the scientific understanding, the rationality, the objectivity that is part of the modern science. But what was rejected was negative. So what was that? Metaphysical understanding. Auguste Comte delivered lectures on which a book was published. That name of the book is The Course of Positive Philosophy. And remember, this is an interesting piece of book in which he talked about 5 basic guidelines of the understanding of this philosophy. What are those 5 basic guidelines? The first one is all scientific knowledge was to be based on direct or empirically verifiable experience of reality. So that was important, which we study in the philosophical branch of phenomenology. How a particular phenomena is there, how it happens. So in terms of the experience, empiricism, reality, that we say that it is not just reality but rather experienced reality. Then there should be unified scientific method or la certitude. Basically, it means that there has to be a unity in terms of scientific understanding. Scientific understanding leads to the unity of all society rather than branching it into segments of truth. So that was important. Then this was possible only when there was la precis. What is this la precis? A common objective of formulating scientific theories that could be subject to empirical testing and utilized for proposing universal laws. So we find the tinge of nomothetism in the works of Auguste Comte as well. The empirically verifiable theories so developed should be based on the tenet of la utile, basically means the utility, and must serve as an instrument of social engineering, social development that we talk about. So that is important. So scientific basis of social development. Then finally, the 5th important point is the guideline to follow the doctrine of la relative, which implied that scientific knowledge was never complete but rather relative in nature and kept on progressing with time through the unification of these scientific theories and ideas, which increased human awareness about these specific sociocracy, as we talk about the social arrangements, social order, social development. So these were the 5 basic guidelines in the works of Auguste Comte. Comte further opened that development of society takes place in 3 stages. So what are these 3 stages? One is the theological stage, where everything is described as God's will. So that we study as theological doctrine. So the first stage is the primitive stage, when everything is considered as the God's will. The second is the metaphysical stage, when the explanation is given of even abstract things, the reason beyond the physical existence. And then the positive, that is when attempts are made to find out causal relations between observed phenomena. So remember this cause and effect relationship, that is what the basis of scientific understanding. So X is the function of Y, as we say, right? So functional relationship, causal relationship, this infinite loop of causality that we say. So that is what when we talk about the positivistic viewpoint, right? So positivism may also be described as empiricism as well, right? The Greek word empire. So empire basically means that it is a scientific or the science or method of gaining knowledge on the basis of scientific evidence through experiences. So now we need to remember these 3 important points about the positivistic philosophy. What is that? Positivistic philosophy proved to be anti-idealistic. What is idealistic? Idealistic is what we see here in the theological approach or the metaphysical approach, that is about human beings beyond the physical matter. But it criticized that concept and it talked about the positivistic scientific understanding, cause-effect relationship. Then positivistic philosophy was branded as anti-authoritarian, especially when by the Nazi or the Hitler's Germany, because people who are going to experience something and then they are going to believe in the phenomena, it means they can even challenge the authority. So that was considered anti-authoritarian as well, and positivism also at that particular time came to be as an abusive term in academics as well. Furthermore, when we look at this positivism, we see that in 1920s, this positivism that emerged in 1830s witnessed a change from the Comtean ideas and in a specific group of scientists called the Vienna Circle. Remember this important terminology, Vienna Circle is important. And they identified, these scientists under this circle identified themselves as logical positivists. So coming from just positivists, now they further branched it. And they said, we are not just positivist, but we are logical positivist. So who is logical positivist? Let's learn. So German philosopher and physicist Moritz Schlick and his further accompanying scientist, that was Rudolf Carnap, they formed this Vienna Circle. And they upheld the viewpoint that some knowledge could be gained without relying on experience as well. So this was a deviation from the pure positivism. So what is that? Basically that there are certain knowledge which could also be gained without actually relying on personal experiences or just empiricism through formal logic and pure mathematics. So basically, if we talk about application of mathematics and logic, many knowledge can be derived as well, rather than just getting experience personally. So this was a deviation from the basic idea of positivism into logical idea of positivism using the mathematical and logical tradition. So the distinction was made in these two types. One was analytical statement, the other was synthetic statement. So the analytical statements, which were a priori propositions whose truth could be verified through tautologies, basically means repetition of the experiments. So, and these were essentially the domain of formal sciences like logic and mathematics. So that was one analytical statement, and the other was synthetic statement. When we say synthetic, it is synthesized or compiled. So they were supposed to be established empirically through hypothesis testing, and these in turn were supported by analytical statements. So these were two important branches of logical positivists. So the philosophy of logical positivism interrelated these precepts of what? Of scientism. What is this scientism? Basically the positive methods alone were the methods of acquiring knowledge. So there was no other method of acquiring the absolute knowledge than scientific policies. So they implied that only positivism was the key to social engineering. So sociocracy could be only based on scientific knowledge. And third one is that value freedom. So this implied that scientific judgments derived through positive methods were neutral, unbiased and objective. So this would give you value freedom. So that was important in terms of the moral binding or the political binding of the system. So that's why it was important. So this philosophy ruled the significant part of academia. So what happened with this philosophy in geography? It impacted the geographical thought as well. So there was a great deal of efforts in the latter half of 19th century to develop geography as a nomothetic science that we talk about law making. So where is it coming from? Now we know, coming from the positivism, positivistic ideology, positivistic doctrine. So this was largely the impact of Darwinian tradition that started in 1859 by Origin of Species, as we know. So this change was initiated in middle of almost 20th century by the works of Schaeffer, when there was a Hartshorne-Schaeffer debate. Remember, areal differentiation versus the exceptionalism in geography, the works of the Schaeffer and Hartshorne. So Schaeffer actually critiqued the work of Kant's exceptionalism in his work, and he talked about the scientific understanding, the systematic understanding, rather than just the historical and theoretical understanding. So Schaeffer put forward his spatial organization paradigm in 1950s that led to this idea of positivism in geographical thought. So what we see further, that Schaeffer set out a sort of revolution in geography that we know by the name of theoretical and quantitative revolution, and we have already studied that in the previous lectures. So one of the important scholars during this revolution was William Bunge, and in his theoretical geography, his work in 1962, he went as far as describe geography as a science of spatial relations and geometry as the mathematics of space. So he described space in terms of geometry and spatial relations and mathematics. So that was an important concept, and what followed was the development of concept of space as basic concept of the organizing or the organizing principle for all the subject matters in geography. So that was the impact of positivism in geography. So what do we see? These important concepts coming into the geographical studies: spatial analysis, spatial science in geography, spatial interaction, spatial structure. So spatial analysis is basically application of the quantitative techniques that we studied in locational analysis as well. Now spatial sciences, the guiding principle behind the organization and operation of society and behavior of individual human being. That was important. Then spatial interaction referred to the interaction between spatial units and was important to understand the human beings and environment relationship. Then spatial structure, so it talked about the arrangement of places, people, phenomena in space. Related to what we talk about today is using GIS. So all these things that we see here is coming out of this important revolution based on positivism in geography. So the discipline of geography witnessed major theoretical and methodological developments, as we know, in 1960s, and another thing that emerged was geography as not just a regional study but regional science. So this was another interesting concept given in 1956 by Walter Isard, and he took to spatial analysis or regional analysis, talking about synthesis of regions through scientific understanding. So another concept that was intrinsically, as in part of the geographical understanding from within, associated with positivism, that was the concept of these systems. So we study this system approach or systems theory, and there is important work of Richard Chorley that we have studied in Quantitative Revolution. His paper Geomorphology and General Systems Theory paved way for this general systems theory, and regional science and importance was given to the scientific understanding. Furthermore, the major contribution to the positivistic theory we find is in the works of David Harvey, that is Explanation in Geography, where he talks about various modes of explanation specifically based on this positivistic ideology. So positivism has been criticized on the basis of these three fronts. What are these? First is the empiricism. This approach proved to be very superficial against the new philosophical approaches that were talking about the alternative methods to these statistical techniques. Why? Because ideologies that developed or emerged were realism and structuralism. They talked about, or they offered, much more insightful exposure of human society. They talked about human behavior, they talked about human emotions, how they shape the spatial behavior. So that was important, and in contrast to positivism that concerned itself with only how factor, they were also concerned with why factor that was beyond the positivistic argument. So remember this point. Then exclusivity. As positivistic ideology talked about this exclusivity, exclusion of normative questions that were beliefs, values, emotions, attitudes, and so on. So these things were also supposed to be quantified in terms of positivism. So that was an idea which was rejected. So remember, in reality, much of human behavior and social arrangements is beyond the question of this exclusivity that was the foundation of positivism. Then the last point that was important was autonomy. The assertion of positivism that knowledge could be only gained through the direct observation and verified empirically was widely challenged, because the objectivity and neutrality and unprejudiced nature of the knowledge based on empiricism was challenged by the parallel emerging schools that we say is realist or structuralist or Marxist schools. So that is important in terms of criticism of this ideology of positivism. So now, when we have learned about the concept of positivism and also positivism in geographical thought, now it's important to learn furthermore the other ideologies as well. So in lectures to come, we are going to learn about the other ideologies in the modern phase of geography as well. For example, the behavioralism, humanism, and radicalism, all these concepts are going to be talked about. So stay safe, stay tuned, and all my best wishes.